We're rolling, and welcome back, everybody, to the 50th, 51st episode of the Kpush podcast. I don't really know what episode it is. Who really gives a fuck anymore? None of these things are real. No one's seeing them, so who cares? I haven't been doing this at all recently. I've really stopped doing this. I don't think I did one in the month of December. I don't think I did a single one, and this is the first time ever in a very long time where I just didn't do this at all. And it's been a slow progression stopping to just not doing it at all from when I was doing it twice a week. And I hate myself for it. I feel like I'm a lazy piece of shit. And I think that I should try and get my shit together. But I feel so tired. I can't really describe it how tired I am. I just feel so mentally drained and absolutely exhausted. Like every ounce of anything I've ever had has been drained from me over these past 17 months. I just feel, ever since last August, from when we started going back to school, I just have felt like it's been an escalation of things continuously happening that I just feel so drained. I feel like I have nothing left, and which sucks because once I do this, I feel better afterwards. My ADHD is way better once I actually do a podcast because it gets everything I have out of my brain, out of my system, and it helps me a lot, and it helps me keep focused of things. But I've been so distracted, and everything I've done that has even tried to remotely help me is been out of spontaneism when I get the motivation to do something. And when I get motivation now, I fucking latch onto it like nothing else. As soon as I'm able to get that motivation to get something done or dream about something, I latch onto it immediately. Like it was, I don't even know, like a leech with the dog, I guess. It's a shitty analogy. Simple, works, but shitty. And it's so embarrassing because I used to be able to just get my shit done even when I didn't want to. Like I would do this podcast even when I didn't want to, and I got better at it. But now I'm better at it, and probably I'm rusty at this bitch. I'm probably not as good as I once used to be, but I mean, the skills are still there, and I've definitely not wasted time doing this podcast, but I don't know. I just have never felt this drained before, really, in my, like, entire life where, like, I've been suicidal, I've been depressed, but just drained. Like, there's nothing left to give. But also, I feel totally spoiled for even thinking about this because I'm sure that there's people with worse lives out there than me. I'm not even really talking about what's going on and what has happened to make me feel this way, so I feel like I should start going into that. My grandfather died of COVID. I think about a month or two ago. My grandfather died of COVID, and my cat died the same week, which, if we're going to be completely honest, I was way more upset about my cat. We're going to be 100% honest here. I was way more upset about my cat. I love my cat so much. She was an asshole. He was mean. I think he shat on the floor a lot. He peed on the floor. But I I really miss the cat. Maybe I don't miss the cat. Maybe I'm just not grieving at all. It was the first time that I've ever really lost anyone before, and I'm not too sure how to feel about it. My grandfather was not particularly the best human being to ever walk the planet. He was an alcoholic, he smoked cigarettes, and sometimes when he got a little too drunk, he would come home and beat the shit out of my mother and my aunts. So it's a little hard to like sit back and be like, damn, that man, he was just such a good guy and I'm gonna miss the shit out of him. But I don't like, it's hard to be really connected with him. And also, I didn't really know, of course, about the beating the shit out of my mother and my aunts until I was around like 13. So until I was about an adult, and by that point I'd already been hugging him. I already loved him. You know, you tell your grandfather you love them and you'll miss them, and you know, at a point in your life when during your childhood they're like one of your only friends. But to realize once you grow up that one of those friends could have been an alcoholic and beaten the shit out of your mother and your aunts. And my family has a bunch of historic problems. They have my aunt and my mother didn't talk for like 7 years. My two cousins haven't talked for like fucking 2 years. My one cousin won't talk to his mother for God knows how long. It's a shit family. It's not a well-structured, put-together family that you can look at and be like, this is a well-functioning family that can love each other organically. That's not the story of my family. And I blame my grandfather. I blame him for beating the shit out of all of them. Probably they all have some mental problems. And again, I think I've said this on the podcast before, but I have a problem with my mother. My cousin has a problem with his mother. And my other cousin also has a problem with his mother. So I don't think that you can just be like, well, you know, these spoiled white boys, they don't really understand. I think it comes down to my mother and my aunts fundamentally lack the ability to be good parents because they were beaten the shit out of and don't understand how to actually care for a human being once they are a child. And coming to terms with all that, it's been a lot. Also, with everything else going down, my girlfriend, which I love, which I've tried to get on the podcast, we just haven't yet done it. She's great. I love her so much. And she's crazy enough to do this podcast with me and also move out to Austin, Texas with me, and I love her so much. She's got this hard life. And she's not the strongest human being. Which neither am I, so I'm not complaining about that. But she's, particularly this month, has just been a mess. She's been really upset all the time. Her period's been fucking her up. And I've kind of been the guy she leans on, which is fine. I'm her boyfriend, I'm supposed to be, but with my grandfather dying, with my cat dying, it's been a lot. I quit my job at Burger King. I'm currently unemployed. I'm just doing DoorDash right now. We have midterms this month too. I'm doing midterms. I'm stressing the fuck out about midterms. I stayed after every day with school, with my teachers. I want to get a job after mid-years because I just wanted to focus on school and get good grades on the mid-years. But god damn it, has that even been exhausting? Getting up at every day at 7 o'clock in the morning when you really just want to stay up at 2 o'clock in the morning, which is when I'm recording right now. Yeah. It's so difficult, man. It's not. It's so difficult. It's so hard. Then I feel like a fucking bitch. Like, who the fuck am I to come on here in a private podcast and just talk like I have the most horrid life in a fucking podcast studio that I made by myself with help of my parents. And here I am complaining. But I mean, I don't know how to feel about the grief. I don't feel like I miss him. I feel anger towards him still. But the anger is so pointless because he's dead. Which I've really, really realized is when you hate someone and they're alive, it feels meaningful. It feels like you're doing something or you're contributing to something. But when they die, the anger feels so... It's confusing how pointless it is. Like, it's... When you stared at a wall for 6 hours, you're going to feel like it was a pointless thing to do. But I'm telling you, hating someone who's dead is like staring at a wall for 5 days. It doesn't even make sense how pointless it feels, because when you really start to think about it, you just go, they're gone. They're gone and they're never going to know. So who the fuck cares? And you're going to give this person your energy. And, you know, it's just been really hard. People always come up and they're talking to you like, are you okay and whatnot? And you just want to look at them and say, you know, I didn't like this person. Like, sit down, because I don't like this human being. And I didn't ever like this human being. And the idea that I'm going to be upset about this piece of shit human. Are you fucking kidding me? And it was just, I don't know. I don't know. And my cat died the same week. And I felt really bad for my cat. He died of, something's wrong with his thyroids or some shit. It doesn't really matter, but he was going blind and he couldn't see anything at the end of his life. And the day before he died, he laid next to me, and I remember this look that he gave me. It was so strange. It's just like he knew he was gonna die. It's like he knew it was the end. When you look, it wasn't even a human, but you just saw a creature, a living being with the ability to think about things. And, you know, this cat was fucking smart. He figured a bunch of shit out. You know, would open doors and steal cheese and, you know, just all the clever cat shit that cats do. But this cat was particularly smart. You know, I taught him boundaries, and I taught him to stay in the backyard, and it was just... I feel like we could have saved my cat. I feel like we could have done something or noticed something, but I mean, the past 3 months of his life were miserable. Over the summer, he was stuck upstairs because we had visitors in and out of the building all the time because my family's fucking insane. My family constantly feels the need to host all the time, so we had people here all summer long. And that forced my cat to be in a bedroom, a closed bedroom, all summer long. And then my mother decided to reinvent re-innovate our kitchen. So we had to get a new kitchen because my mother said so. So we were in the basement without my cat, or he was upstairs locked in a bedroom for the last 3 months of his life. And then he died. And this cat was such an asshole, but I feel like, I don't know, I feel like we were the fault of it. I feel like he had thyroid problems probably his whole life because he was always super skinny and he was always had trouble eating. And, when he was a kitten, a really, really small kitten, he didn't bite anyone. He was super nice. And then probably about a year, he just started biting everyone, and we didn't really know why, but there was a period of time where it's almost like he dealt with the pain, and then towards the end of his life, he was just such an asshole because he couldn't deal with the pain, and all I feel is so much empathy, and yet I feel all this empathy for my cat about how he has this problem with his thyroid, about I was sort of an asshole to everyone, but I feel bad, but yet I look for this empathy for my grandfather, and I just keep coming up with fuck you. And I don't know what it means. I don't know what it means. I don't know what to make of it. Does that mean I'm a bad person? I don't know. Should I feel like that? Am I morally in the right? But when I look for hate, I just keep coming up with the pointlessness of it all. I don't know. Death is so weird. And as a white guy from the suburbans, of course, my first actual death experience is at 18. But, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where to take the podcast from here. I'm going to try and switch lanes, but I don't know if I can. I don't know if I'm feeling it that I can change lanes, and I don't know somehow I could steer the conversation into a more light-hearted way, nor do I know really what I'm going to talk about. I didn't have any planning for this. I just said that I thought I should talk. And I just sort of ran in here and started recording. Like, there's no preparation for these podcasts at all. It's literally me sitting around playing, like, video games, whatever the fuck I'm doing. Masturbating, probably. Watching porn. And just randomly going, I'm going to record a podcast. And then I run in here and I talk my ass off. With no one in the room. And I don't know if that's a good thing or if that's a bad thing, but I want Isaiah here. I really do. I want fucking Isaiah here. I want Isaiah sitting here next to me recording this so I can fucking make him laugh, or I can make him feel something. I don't know, or at least see an audience reaction of what a human is going to react to what I am saying. And it's weird still about just talking in this room. And I like it a little bit. I like coming in here alone and just talking to myself. But on a certain extent, I hate it, and it makes me feel like I'm going insane to a certain extent. And I like it, and it makes me better at talking, for sure. And it also helps me get out a bunch of my ADHD. But also, I feel like I'm going mentally insane, and you should lock me up. But I'm not. I don't know. But I'm super excited for him to come on. Every weekend, these past couple months have just been ass. I haven't seen a bunch of my friends. I went to a party tonight that was just absolutely fucking terrible. Because Eastern parties, like where I come from, and how movies and TV shows always expressed high school parties as like this. You see it a lot in like Euphoria. Euphoria is the best example ever. They'll be like, this is a high school party, and they're doing like Molly, and there's like a threesome happening, while in the next room somebody's getting raped, and like a school shooter shows up and like kills everyone, and like it seems fun. It's like Euphoria high school parties seem like a grand time, but like actual high school parties is just lame. Like pretty much all of them are like people experimenting with how much alcohol they can have. And if you started drinking in middle school, that shit isn't fun. Like if like myself, who started drinking when they were 12, and maybe this is my bad, drinking and that being the event of the party is not fun for me. It's inherently not a satisfying thing for me anymore, is to just get drunk. I like being buzzed. I like having a few drinks and just be silly and not give a fuck. I love that. But the idea of just showing up at a party and getting loaded to your limit is not an ideal time for me anymore. It's not fun. And I drank so much in middle school that I think I ruined alcohol for myself. And then all these people are having so much fun drinking. I'm just like, these aren't fun. This isn't fun. And it's so crazy and you know, funny to me that like, because this party was like just objectively terrible. Like, and these are just all the Easton parties. It's not the host or the way the house was made or a certain type of group. It's just the people of Easton do not know how to socially interact with each other. And it's embarrassing, and it makes me want to throw up and take a gun to school and kill all of them. No. Not actually. I don't want to kill anyone. It's not a real thing that I would like to do. But, like, you just get angry. Like, you're like, what the fuck what are you doing here? Like, what are we doing here? Because this is not a real human's talk. And, like, these people will come up to you, and half of the party of being in Easton is, hey, that guy. Hey, I know you. Hey. Hey, haven't seen you in so long. Give me a hug. Give me a hug. Hey. And it's just, calm it down a little bit. Like, fucking relax. Okay, you're not this excited to see me. Like, really? You're this excited to see me? Really? Are you? If you're so excited to see someone where you're willing to shout out, hey, I should be able to pull out my dick and just have you start blowing me. Like, realistically, if you showed up anywhere else and someone just screamed, hey, it's been so long, I'm so excited to see you, you'd be like, this person wants to suck my cock. Like, and for Easton parties, it's like normal to be gay, which is like, okay, I guess. But the other part of the Easton parties now is now you have to invite sophomores to senior parties. Why? I don't know. I feel like a pedophile. Because there are 15-year-olds running around as I'm turning 19. Have you ever seen your sister at a party before? Unless you're twins, because if you're twins, suck it up, Buttercup. And my sister's 2 years younger than me. She's a little bit younger, I think. Like 2 months, like 2 years and fucking like 2 months or whatever the fuck. 2 years. But I've consistently tried to have this relationship with my sister where her friends are friends with my friends. I've tried this since 7th grade. Every time I've had people over, I always say, come downstairs, we'll hang out together, and we'll fucking have a blast. Every time I've asked, she says no. She says, no, I don't want to hang out with your friends. Your friends are fucking losers. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to hang out with you. And, and it's taken me a really long time to just get adjusted for it. And this has been a consistent thing with 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade. But for whatever reason, in the middle of 12th grade, on a random fucking Saturday night, when my friend Anthony decides to invite my sister, she's like, all right, I'm ready to be friends with your friends. No. Go fuck yourself. Respectfully, why are you here? Why are you here? And it's also a problem with my friend Anthony. Anthony has this twin sister, and anytime Anthony's twin sister comes around, he acts like she's the spawn of Satan. He acts like she's tearing off our testicles and just chewing them right in front of our faces and is causing us physical pain. And Anthony's twin sister is a sweet girl. Is like a nice human being, like just a nice, down-to-earth human being. Not like just nice. Just a nice human being. And like totally not like a problem for any of Anthony's friends. But Anthony decides to act like an asshole to his sister for literally no reason. And, which is like, okay, whatever. But then, do not invite my sister to your fucking party of seniors. You retard, moron, pervert, pedophile. Like, I don't even know what name to call you. You're like a combination of like, first of all, you're so down bad you're inviting sophomores. Calm down, Mr. Horny. Number 2, they're fucking 15 years old, pedo. Like, fucking relax. Number 3, you fucking hypocrite. Number 4, and like this was a big problem with me too, is that he slid it under the rug. Like he purposely, like this is how I found out my sister was going to a party, is that I knocked on her bedroom door and I saw them getting ready and I was like, oh, hey, what's going on? You guys need, because I offer a ride. If I'm like free a night, if I'm not drinking on Saturdays, I tell my sister that I can give her rides. I do this fucking all the time when I'm not drinking. So I'm not drinking Saturday night because I was planning on going to Anthony's, but not drinking. So I would come home or whatever and just, dick around. So I call, or no, I don't call. I walk into my sister's bedrooms and I'm like, hey, I can give you a ride tonight, wherever you want or whatever. You can just call me. And, I saw that they were getting ready and they were all dressed nicely. And I go, so where are you guys going tonight, though? And she goes, oh, we're going to Anthony's. And I go, huh? This is not like a good way to hear that your 2 years younger sister is going to the same party with your friends for like the first time ever. And like, if Anthony asked me like 2 weeks ago, hey man, I'm thinking about having this party. Would it be cool if I invited your sister to this party? I would have been like, yeah, let me think about it, man. And then like 4 days later, I would have been like, you know what, man? It's fucking fine. It's fucking fine. You want to invite my sister to the party? We'll go together. It's fucking whatever. It's not okay to be like, hey, I'm leaving for Anthony's now. Oh, by the way, your sister's coming with you. Huh? Like, huh? How is that even remotely, huh? And it's like you just want to smack your sister in the face You want to smack Anthony in the face for both of them being hypocrites. And it's like, why the fuck would you do that? And so, nevertheless, my friend Josh texted me and he's like, what are you doing tonight? Let's like go do something or whatever. So I go pick him up. I explain the whole situation. And he's like, you know what, bro? All that shit sucks, but it's a party and you should go. And I go, fuck. Fuck, you're right. I should just go. I should just try and make the best of it. Fuck Anthony for being an asshole. Fuck my sister for being an asshole for all those years. But whatever, fuck it. I'll just go in and I'll try and make the best of it. So I get there, and I'm telling you, every time I tell myself these parties aren't horrific, they have to be the worst thing ever. So, number one, no one in Easton has a genuine personality. That's a very big part of being in Easton, is that I am unique. I like Star Wars. I like smoking weed. I like podcasts. I like stand-up comedy. I like movies. These are very basic things. I'm a very basic white boy. I'm not going to deny that. But these are some things for a personality. Like, these are genuine things I can talk to you about. And I also like talking about politics. Like, they're basic things. Nothing crazy, okay? I don't know how to speak 7 different languages. And I don't know anything about, like, the French Revolution, and I'm not, like, a history major. Like, I'm not, like, that guy. I'm not that guy. But, like, I like movies, and, like, they're basic. Yes, sure, whatever. But they're a personality, at least. And I have somewhat of a personality that I don't rely on, like, being non-binary. Like, that's, like, a thing where, like, it's difficult to be like anything else that isn't Jewish, pansexual, bisexual, transgender, black, Asian. Like, this is when you are that, which I'm not saying is a problem, and whatever the fuck, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but people take on that personality. They make it that their whole personality. They want to identify with it, and they want to talk about it, and that's all that they can talk about. But when you're at a party and nobody wants to talk about religion, race, politics, like anything, they don't want to talk about this, there's nothing to say. There's nothing to say. And also, most of these people are like liberal, crazy people, like they don't really know anything. And when they want to sound smart, they just repeat something someone else said. And it's not like a good environment to genuinely open up and talk about things. But it's also not a good place to go and get fucked up at. Because everyone has iPhones and they're all ready to record. And if you say something that's a little offline, they'll look at you funny. But then also, there's always that one white girl who's, like, screaming the N-word, but she's, like, throwing it up so she gets away with it. But, like, if you're a white dude, you don't. And, like, it's actually just the white women get this privilege. Like, if you're a black dude and you say offensive things at parties in Easton, you're gonna get fucked up as well. Not, like, fucked up physically, but, like, people are gonna talk about it. You're gonna get recorded. If you're an Asian dude, this is gonna happen as well. I think it's only white women. I think only white women can say, like, bad shit at parties because of how fucked up they get. Where, like, if you're a dude, it's like, well, why'd you get that fucked up? You definitely meant it. It was definitely in there somewhere. It was cooking up. It's like, or I had 15 shots and I smoked about 3 joints and I don't know what I'm saying. But no, it's never that. Well, like, I have this story. I'll tell this story after I take this step. Like, I have this story where I went to my friend's party. I went to Anthony. It was another Anthony's party. It was like 3 or 6 months ago or whatever the fuck it was. And I went there and it was like all right or whatever, but I didn't want to drink in front of people because when I drink, I say offensive things. That's what I do. I just, not to any particular race or group or whatever. I just am offensive. And I like talking shit. That's what I like doing. So I had a plan. I said I'm going to wait for everyone to go to sleep. And everyone went to sleep around like 2 or 3 o'clock. So like 3 o'clock hits and I down like 5 shots. Like in an hour. I'm fucked in like 30 minutes. I'm fucking gone. And me and my friend Dom, we wanted to hang out in the living room, but we couldn't because people were sleeping there. And one of the girls there, you know, was known for a particular region of area that's around the chest. And, you know, I may have made a tit joke. I may have been like, oh, look at tits over here sleeping. And then, lo and behold, her best friend walks around the corner, and I'm like, and here I am, 5 shots in with this girl's best friend whose girl is sleeping, and I just made a comment about her tits, jokingly, but still made a comment about her tits, and now I'm just staring this girl in the eye in this awkward Mexican standoff. And it was like, why? Like, why? Like, everyone was asleep, but this bitch, I'm telling you, woke up to hear me say this offensive joke. And I've just decided ever since that day that maybe drinking at parties with people I don't know isn't the best move. Because I always will and do something and say something fucking retarded. So I don't say anything anymore. Which is fine. But it's not fun. They're not fun parties. And when you're 19 years old and there's 15 or turning 19 years old and there's 15-year-olds running around and you're just like, am I a babysitter? Like, what's going on here? Like, I feel like I have to take care of them because something bad is going to happen. And like, a lot of people go to these parties to hook up with women. Like, this is a big thing about parties, is that men sort of have this fantasy that they're going to be able to hook up with a girl and that they're just going to be able to like walk away from it and they're going to they're going to get to come and they're going to feel good and you know the whole thing with sex. And it's like that never happens. Ever in Easton does that ever. These are your options in Easton. You show up to a party with the intention of getting laid, which is like a pretty normal intention, I would consider. But like, here's your options. Number 1, you get a girl who has a boyfriend, and then you have to deal with a redneck boyfriend. Or you deal with an emotionally unstable girl, you like fuck her, whatever, and then she like cries afterwards. Number 3, she grows emotionally attached to you and like she won't ever leave your side. Or like number 4, which is my personal favorite, she accuses you of rape afterwards, which is my personal favorite. And like, this has been a thing that happens in Easton a lot. It's happened to me about 3 different times, and it's also happened to my friend Charlie and my friend Isaiah, where we've just... And the thing is with girls, when they accuse you of rape in Easton, they'll, number 1, never go to the police because it's not true. And number 2, they will constantly not say the word rape. They will say, he forced me. They'll say, I felt pressured. They said she felt unsafe. Like, they'll use all of these words that define rape, but then when you ask them, so did he rape you? They'll be like, well, you know, I wouldn't put it like that. And then you're like, Well, then, bitch, what the fuck did he do? What did he do? And, like, this is, and like, the chances of you ever going to an Easton party with finding a young, attractive, not in a relationship, not crazy, not psychopath bitch who's ready to fuck is so crazy unlikely that it's not going to last. Because let's say you go to a party and you get laid, right? So then you're like, okay, you know what? I got laid by that girl. I don't want to fuck her again, so I'm going to move on to the next girl next week. I'll fuck another girl next week. Next week comes around, and either A, there's no party, or you don't get laid at the next party. So then you're like, all right, whatever, I'll get laid at the next party. Next week comes around, and you still haven't been laid. So now you're just thinking about that girl 2 weeks ago who gave you this shitty blowjob while she was drunk at a party, and you just keep thinking about her sucking on your dick, and you're getting absolutely zero pussy, and you just are masturbating to this girl sucking on your cock. And then you're like, no, but I don't want a relationship with that girl. I don't want to open things back up. If things will get too complicated, I'll hook up with another girl next week and I'll be okay. Next week comes around again and you still haven't gotten a bitch, and you're like, fuck it, I'll fuck the bitch who I already had sex with. And that's like a real thing that happens to all guys, but it specifically happens in Easton because when you get a girl, you want to keep her. Because there are so few options, because everyone's taken. They're all psychopaths. They're all weird Christians. They're still somehow 5 and haven't lost their virginity yet. They have a crazy psycho redneck boyfriend, or they will accuse you of rape. Like, this is the Easton women options. And it's not, and they're all white. All of them are white. There's like 3 colored women you can choose. Other than that, you're fucked. And I found like a Hispanic girlfriend that looks like fucking Jack Frost. And it's like, okay, well, this is Easton. It is so white, it's disgusting. And I feel gross that I'm white as well. But, like, what do you even... These parties aren't fun. And, like when I did all this, and when I'm sitting at this party thinking about it, and when people come up to you, and when they'll do the, hey, nice to see you, buddy, sometimes you'll see someone, and you'll actually want to, like, see them, because you haven't seen them in a minute, you forgot that they were kind of even a human, and you'll be like, oh my god, I forgot how fucking dope as shit you were. Let's, like, schedule a lunch. Let's smoke weed before we go into lunch, and let's talk for, like, 2 hours. And let's talk about your future plans. Let's talk about where you want to be in 20 years. How are you doing mentally? Like, I want to have, like, a deep conversation and actually get to know these people. And these people are, like, drunk at a party. And you can't talk to them because they want to talk to the next person, because they want to go, hey, to, like, the next person. And it's like, this is unfulfilling, unsatisfying, and also pathetic all at once. And it's not fun. And, you know, after viewing the 7-year-olds walk around, knowing which girls have the redneck boyfriend and which girls are going to accuse men of rape tonight, and then also seeing the hey for like an hour, and for like, I was only there for like 30 minutes, but it felt like an hour and a half of just all of that. And then also knowing all the people who are there are fake, and they're going to go on their private stories or Instagram, and they're going to complain about how serious the coronavirus is, Meanwhile, they're at this party with like 120 people while there's like little girls running around. And on top of all that, I was like, okay, I'll go out with my friend Dominic because Dominic was smoking a cigarette. And I was like, all right, I'll go see Dominic. So I went out and I saw Dominic. And there was one of my ex-friends who I haven't seen in a very long time who's been on this podcast, but I won't say his name out of respect because I don't want problems. He was there getting freshman girls Snapchat. And I'm like, you know what? I've seen enough. I've seen the pedophilia that's going on with my ex-best friend, which is disgusting that I was ever friends with him. I know which girls are going to accuse men of rape tonight. I know which girls are going to get their redneck boyfriends to beat up guys tonight. I know that everyone's just going to be screaming at each other the whole time. And I know that there's going to be a white girl who throws up everywhere. I don't want to be a part of this. This is embarrassing, it's pathetic, and it's disgusting. And the fact that anyone is having enjoyment out of this doesn't seem fun. Like, it just doesn't seem fun. And in all honesty, it seems like a lot more fun to be my grandfather who gets drunk as fuck and comes home and beats their children and wives. That seems like... That seems like a Saturday night, baby. That's a good fucking joke. I'm leaving it off there with the podcast. We're about fucking 40-some minutes in. But always just remember, being a alcoholic grandfather who beats the fuck out of your mother and aunts is more fun than going to an Easton, Massachusetts party. Thank you, everybody, for if you listened. It's currently 2:45, and I have to go to bed or I will get no sleep. Good night, everyone.